Alrighty, so I need to finish reading pages 172 to 175, and whoever scanned this book again made a mistake, so I have to read one page from here, and it's the page, it doesn't actually have a number, so it's like 173, I think. It looks like this, which is probably backward. Oh, it's not backwards on there. Good. All right, so the mystery of Homer. The Odyssey is one of the greatest pieces of storytelling in the world and one of the oldest. For almost 3,000 years, people have read about the adventures of Odysseus as he roamed the wide sea after the Trojan War, struggling to get home to the rocky island of Ithaca. But what about the storyteller? Who was Homer? That's one of the greatest mysteries of literature. According to ancient tradition, Homer was a blind poet, but maybe he was described like that because blind people were thought to have special insight and power to foresee the future. So he may or may not have been blind. Modern experts think he lived on the coast of Turkey in the 8th century BC, but that date and the place really aren't certain. And although we think his name was Homer, we can't be sure of that either. Perhaps there was no such person at all. What do we know? It seems clear that Homer, whoever he was, didn't invent these tales of men and gods and monsters. They had been told for maybe 500 years before he lived. Before history could be written down, songs and stories were the best way of commemorating the great deeds of kings and heroes. The stories may have changed over hundreds of years of telling, but somewhere between all the fantastic details of the squabbling gods and terrifying monsters, there may well be a core of truth about things that actually happened. Poets sang or chanted these stories from memory, and because the songs were long and complicated, they used special tricks to help them remember them. So, for example, they used set phrases and descriptions over and over again, like talking about the wine dark sea or the wily Odysseus. Some of these phrases have survived into the Odyssey, reminding us of its ancient oral roots. So, if Homer didn't invent these stories, why is he famous and why do we care who he was? The answer lies in the Odyssey itself. It's not just a collection of linked tales. The stories are wound together so skillfully that they become a single narrative. And there are three strands of suspense that run all the way through. Will Telemachus dodge the suitors' ambush and get back home safely? Will Penelope manage to fend off the suitors until her husband returns? Will Odysseus get back to Ithaca and be reunited with his wife? The Greeks of Homer's time were different from us in many ways. Their attitude to religion seems strange to us, and so does their glorification of battles and fighting. But the way Homer presents Odysseus's adventures makes it easy to sympathize with him. He is a hero who still has a wide appeal today. And when I told my friends I was working on a retelling of the Odyssey, the most unexpected people said, I love the Odyssey. I've loved it all my life. And that's the real mystery, of course, that thousands of years ago, a man whose name we can't be sure of could sit down at a time we don't know exactly and in a place we can only guess and write something that still moves and excites us today. And that is where we finish. I hope you've enjoyed it.